All right, it's 4:05. I will get this public workshop started. Just want to welcome everyone. Available in front of you is the poll questions. I'm not sure if they're shared, but just wanted to mention that closed captioning is needed. As stated below on this sheet, on this slide, is closed captioning is available at the bottom of the Zoom bar, if not already displayed. This is the public workshop for the T2021-04204 HEP KC, which stands for Hazard Elimination Program for Kent County, for SR 15, which is Kenton Road at Central Church Road. And this is an intersection improvement project. On this slide is the DelDOT mission statement: every trip, every mode, every dollar, every one. With this project emphasizing the every mode statement that we are to provide safe choices for the traveling public in Delaware. Regarding the project team and the representatives for the district, this district's senator is David Lawson and the representative is William Bush. The project team from DelDOT is John Gaines, who is the PD South Group Engineer, and myself, Calvin Esham, the DelDOT Project Manager. The project team also includes Century as a design consultant. Their members are Laura Haxton and Andrew Howler. In order to participate in this workshop, you can listen using your computer speakers or by calling in on your phone. The details for joining the session are below. All attendees, whether on the phone or using this computer speaker, they'll be joining the session in listen only mode. And again, closed captioning is available. How to ask a question. During the session, please type all your questions into the Q&A box, which is on the button bar below. Move your mouse to the bottom of the screen and the bar will appear. Just type your question in there. Yeah, as that states, just type it into the Q&A dialog box. If you cannot use the Q&A function, please email questions directly to me. My email is as shown. Each question will be reviewed by the moderator during the session, and panelists will respond verbally to the questions that are chosen. Specific questions may be answered directly through the Q&A function. Today's agenda for our public workshop will go over the project background, the proposed improvements, the project schedule, and answer questions that are provided to us. So now I'd like to hand off the presentation to Laura Haxton, who's going to go over the project background.
Thank you, Calvin. My name is Laura Haxton, and I'll be going through the project background, unmuted. As the title indicates, this project is located at the intersection of Kenton Road and Central Church Road in Kent County, Delaware, between Dover and Cheswold. The safety improvements at this intersection were identified through the Hazard Elimination Program, which falls under the Delaware Highway Safety Improvement Program, or the HSIP. This is a federally funded project through FHWA. I'm going to put a, let's see, I'm going to launch another poll for you. If you could answer it for me. In your opinion, what is the biggest concern at this intersection? There is no right answer, and feel free to choose more than one choice. I'll give you a couple seconds to log your choices. We still have people coming in. All right, we're going to end it there. share the results. You can see excessive speed and crashes coming in at the top of what you guys think the biggest concern is. So as part, this project was part of the 2019 Hazard Elimination Program. What you see on your screen is a page from the report. The study resulted in safety improvements, including converting the existing two-way stop sign into an all-way stop sign, which was installed in March of 2021. Additional roadway lighting was recommended and installed in January of 2021. And then a project nomination form was submitted for a roundabout in March of 2020. And then the last recommendation, which is why we're here today, is to construct a roundabout. Now let's talk about the purpose and need of this project. The purpose of this project is to reduce crashes and reduce speed. As part of the HEP report, they identified the need of this project through a speed and crash study. The speed study actually indicated that over 50% of vehicles were recorded going over the speed limit, and 24 crashes were recorded between January 2014 and December of 2018. As part of this project, we actually took the crash study a step further and looked at the most recent 5 years. 22 crashes were recorded within the last 5 years, and vehicles passing the stop sign was ranked as the number one cause for crashes. And an interesting fact to note that even though traffic volumes decreased in 2020 due to COVID-19 travel restrictions, it was the highest year for crashes. So although it was the lowest year for traffic volume, it was the highest year for crashes. All right, now I have another poll question for you. If you could answer this one for me. Which statement or statements about roundabouts is true? You should always stop before entering a roundabout. Vehicles entering a roundabout should yield to vehicles already in the roundabout. Signalized intersections are safer than roundabouts, and roundabouts are the same as traffic circles or rotaries. All right. Give everyone a couple seconds. All right, looks like it slowed down a bit, so I'll end it there. I'm going to share the results with you. So the correct answer was the second one. Vehicles entering the roundabout should yield to vehicles already within the roundabout. That is the general rule of roundabouts. One of the benefits of a roundabout is that it allows continuous flow for smoother traffic operations, which means you do not always have to stop before entering the roundabout. You only have to yield. So if there is a car in the roundabout, you do have to stop, but you don't always have to stop. And signalized intersections are safer than roundabouts. We're going to go into that in the next couple slides as to why for this intersection we chose a roundabout. And then roundabouts are not the same as traffic circles or rotaries. Traffic circles and rotaries tend to be larger with higher speeds and more weaving movements. So as recommended by the HEP, this project does include the construction of a single lane roundabout. Roundabouts have proven to be an excellent countermeasure in reducing highway fatalities and injuries. Roundabouts have fewer conflict points than traditional intersections, and we'll go into that into the next slide. Because of this, it increases safety of the intersection by reducing fatalities and injury crashes. Roundabouts actually use geometry and physical features to slow vehicle speeds down, which helps reduce the crash severity. And roundabouts eliminate the stop and go that stop and go traffic pattern that a signal or a stop sign tends to have. So it allows for smoother operations. Now the picture you see in the middle of your screen of the truck, this roundabout actually used a WB67 as the design vehicle, which is a large semi-trailer. So roundabouts, we are utilizing inside and outside truck aprons so that these large vehicles, buses, and farm equipment can safely navigate this intersection. So as mentioned in the previous slide, roundabouts do reduce the conflict points within an intersection. A conflict point is a location within an intersection where two vehicles have the potential of colliding. So there are three different categories of conflicts. We can start with the diverging conflict. This conflict is where two traffic streams are separating. Then we have a merging conflict. This is where two traffic streams are coming together. And both the diverging and merging conflict points tend to result in side swipes or rear end crashes. And then there is the third most severe type of conflict, which is a crossing conflict point. This is where two traffic streams heading in opposite directions join together. This results in a right angle or a head-on crash, which is what would most likely result in a severe injury. So as you can see from the picture, the roundabout actually eliminates the crossing conflicts because of those physical features that we put into place. It eliminates those crossing conflicts. So, and then the only conflicts that are left, we only have 8 conflicts left as compared to the 32 conflicts of a traditional intersection. So as stated at the bottom of the slide, you can see the ability of a single lane roundabout to reduce conflicts through physical and geometric features has been demonstrated to be more effective than reliance on driver obedience of traffic control devices. So in other words, the roundabout puts physical features in geometry. We have splitter islands and a central island that actually slows the cars down and has them obey the rules of the roundabout. Whereas with a traditional intersection with a signal or a stop sign, we are just relying on the driver's obedience of that traffic control device. A common question we get is did we consider a roundabout or did we consider a traffic signal? Throughout the US, states are implementing a roundabout first policy. And what this is a process in considering a roundabout before any other traffic control device like a signal or a stop sign. And this is because of the proven effectiveness of roundabouts to increase safety and improve traffic flow within an intersection. So when we look at safety, just as I just explained, we're reducing conflict points and slowing vehicles down, which increases safety of a roundabout over a traditional intersection. The cost of roundabouts tend to be lower because we do not have to install or maintain signal equipment that only tend to have a 10-year service life. Traffic flow in a roundabout, we are promoting continuous traffic flow. Vehicles do not have to stop and wait at a red light. So there's not that stop and go traffic pattern. We are allowing for a smoother traffic operation. And then right away, although roundabouts do need more right away right at the intersection, the approach legs do not need as much because we don't have to develop those right and left turn lanes. So because of all these reasons at this intersection, it was determined that a roundabout would be the safer option to fulfill the project goals. NEPA, what is NEPA? NEPA is the National Environmental Policy Act. This is a decision-making process that all federally funded projects are required to use to help determine impacts and ways to minimize and avoid adverse environmental effects. We look at wetlands, historic resources, endangered species. For this project in particular, we looked at, we did a wetland analysis, and the historic standing structures, archaeology, and endangered species analysis is ongoing. As I mentioned, we did complete the wetland analysis. Our environmental scientists went out and determined the jurisdictional wetlands as said by the Army Corps of Engineers. So what you see on your screen in green are the jurisdictional wetlands or protected wetlands. This project had a little under a half an acre of unavoidable impacts. So this project will be constructing a wetland mitigation site as part of the design. And Andrew will show you more of that later in the presentation. So now I'm going to turn it over to Andrew to talk about the proposed improvements.
Thank you, Laura. As you've heard, safety is a large concern at the intersection of Central Church and Kenton Rd. which is why DelDOT has selected a roundabout to be the preferred option. I'd like to now go through some of the elements our design team has considered while preparing what you see before you. The roundabout on this display and that we are proposing is 130 feet in diameter, which is a standard size for a single lane operation. The roundabout is complete with inside and outside truck aprons in order to accommodate all vehicles and truck sizes. The size was chosen due to the existing speed limits of the roadways and to help alleviate impacts to the adjacent property owners as much as possible. The proposed design will include full lighting of the intersection to maximize visibility and promote the safest operation possible. The center of the roundabout has been placed slightly to the northeast to reduce impacts to potential historic structures within the area, and each roadway is aligned to ensure operating speeds are met while navigating the intersection. DelDOT will address all drainage concerns within state right-of-way and within the project limits. And as you can see on the display, a proposed wetland site is shown on the northwest corner. As Laura mentioned, this is to mitigate any and all impacts to the existing wetlands within the project limits. All existing residential driveways will continue to have full access in and out as they do today. However, due to the preferred design of the roundabout, the entrance of the church will need to be shifted to allow for full access and operation in and out of the facility. Here's a rendering. We felt that this was a very good representation of what the final product would look like. And to give you a better picture once it's fully constructed. The truck aprons are shown in red, and they're located towards the center of the roundabout and along three of the outside radii. As Laura had mentioned, this is to ensure we have full operation for all sizes of trucks, and they are intended for larger vehicles to use only. The roadway is designed for your standard passenger cars, trucks, vans, things of that nature. The center of the roundabout will consist of low maintenance grass to provide a better visible and contrasting surface for visibility of the roundabout. And lastly, the relocated church entrance I had mentioned can be seen here off to the right of the screen. And with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and I'd like to hand it back over to Laura.
Thank you, Andrew. We do have a final poll question for you. Do you agree or disagree that a roundabout is the best design to reduce crashes at this intersection? Give you a couple more seconds. Still have answers coming in. Looks like it's slowed down. Here are the results of that poll. So on the screen right now, you will see our schedule. We completed preliminary design in the fall of 2021. We're currently in spring of 22 at our public workshop. We will begin right-of-way acquisition in spring of 2023 while we finalize the design, and then begin construction in fall of 2025. So if you want to stay informed about this project or see any of the displays that you've seen today, if you visit the project website at deldot.gov /projects, or you can click the orange project cone, you'll see a icon that has a project cone there. And then just search Central Church and you will find the project. You can click there and you'll find all sorts of information there. We encourage everybody to go and take a look. There will be a survey also located online that we would like people to fill out to help give comments, suggestions. You can also email or mail comments to the addresses shown on the screen. We do have additional panelists with us today from various departments throughout Delavaut to help us answer some questions. So I want to thank everyone for their help today, and we're going to move on to questions. So it looks like we do have a question in here that says, you may have answered this question, but my Ford truck with a fifth wheel camper, will it fit, basically, will it fit through, get out of our driveway and head north, turning right onto Central Church, will your plan life fit? Yes, you will. We, like I said in earlier slides, our design vehicle is a WV67, which is a large tractor trailer. So we have done various analysis to make sure this fits. We've done speed analysis, turning templates, site triangles, all that in order to fit a very large truck apron. So, or a very large truck. So like Andrew said, if we look back here at these truck aprons, a regular vehicle will stay on the circulatory roadway here, whereas a large truck like shown here, the back tires will be able to off track onto this red pavement, which are truck aprons. They are designed, this is only like a 2-inch curb right here, so they are designed to keep cars in the lane, but to allow trucks to safely get through the intersection, you know, without having to topple over a curb. So I hope that answered your question. Andrew, do we have any other questions?
Yes. Or we did have a question about how many residents are watching tonight.
Let me go back to poll question number 1. And it looks like about 50% of the viewers are residents. So we have, I think, 8 residents and a business owner and a couple commuters, so.
All right, thank you. And we have another question. It asks, what is the diameter of the circle, so the roundabout?
So I can show you, I'll go back to this, the rendering picture is really the best way to explain this. The way we design a roundabout, this circle right here, this outside curve, is called the inscribed diameter, and that is 130 feet. So that is actually the smallest size. We minimized the footprint as much as possible to be able to control speed and allow large trucks to go through.
All right, thank you. We have another question that just came in. Why not keep the 4-way stop? There haven't been any accidents that I'm aware of since they were installed.
So as I described in the earlier slides, and hopefully after this presentation, you can go online and look at these slides, they will be available. Roundabouts are proven to be safer in the long run. It eliminates these conflict points. So although there may not have been any recorded accidents, the last crash data we had was from August of last year. So even though there may or may not have been crashes there, we are trying to prevent them in the future. And we want to make sure we do that the best way possible. And that is eliminating these conflict points, which is a roundabout is the best option for that. Does anybody have anything else to add to that question?
Yes, I thought about the poll question we had set up. I believe it was the second question, the biggest concerns at the intersection. And in that, we had half of the individuals saying that vehicles were ignoring the stop signs. So the 4-way stop is relatively new in comparison to the amount of data that we have, but with observed vehicles running the stop signs, we feel it really is kind of a matter of time before a serious accident may occur.
Yes, that is a good point. And it is reducing the severity of crashes. We are eliminating the conflict points that typically result in severe injury or fatalities.
All right, and then we have another question that just came in. Will there be warning signs or flashing lights when this is completed?
Yes, there will be. We are using the regulated warning signs for roundabout ahead. There'll also be, a roundabout is designed for 25 miles an hour. That is the speed that we use where people can navigate through it. So there will be 25-mile-an-hour signs underneath the roundabout ahead sign. There are a roundabout that we like to reference is if you've been to the 10 and 15, so Willow Grove and Moose Lodge Road. If you've been to that roundabout, it'll be very similar to that, not exact, but similar. So if you look at the signs out there and such, it'll be just like that. So we are using all the regulated MUTCD warning signs.
And then I see another question. Will access be maintained to the residences during construction?
Yes, all access to businesses, residents, the church will be maintained during construction, and the contractor, when they're doing work outside of your property, will be in contact with you to make sure that you are, when they'll be there.
And then this may be a follow-up to it. Will construction be done at night?
So currently we are planning for construction to happen during the daytime hours. If night work were to occur, DelDOT is required to send out a night work survey. So if we did start to consider night work, you would be notified with a survey and whatnot. But as of right now, we are not considering night work.
All right. And, there's a question. So after leaving the roundabout, will there be speed limit signs on each road? There is more than one speed depending on the road exiting.
You are correct. We did notice that there is more than one speed out there. And we will ensure that there are speed limit signs within the project limits so that vehicles will know the appropriate speed for that road and in that direction.
And then the next one, will there be any detours during construction?
Yes, right now we do have detours happening depending on which leg of the road they're working on or which section they're working on. We will need detours. We'll have a better idea of the duration of those detours and exactly what those detours will be as the design progresses. But yes, you can expect detours, but the detours will not eliminate access to your property.
And it looks like this is a right-of-way question. I live in the project limits. How will DelDOT acquire the necessary land they need for the project?
Hi, I'm Rosemary Richardson. I'm the acquisitions manager. And basically we were provided with the plans, and the plans have an acquisition area for your property. It may be in fee, it might be a permanent easement, or it might be a temporary construction easement. So it's based on what the needs are of the project. Once we receive that information, in order to provide compensation to you, we either prepare a waiver valuation if it's a non-complex acquisition, or we hire an independent fee appraiser. He will come back to us with an actual just compensation dollar amount. We will prepare documents, and those documents will be presented to you. And then you will have time to review the documents and make a decision whether or not you will accept them. Typically, most people will return the documents, sign, and then we go to settlement with you. And then you will receive your monies.
Thank you. And then let's see if more questions are coming in. Looks like, will there be any utility service outages?
So right now, we are currently coordinating with the existing utility companies to determine a relocation plan. Attempts to avoid utility outages will be made. Obviously, that's not our first choice. But if they are necessary, the impacted customers, whoever it may impact, whether it be Verizon or electric, whatever it is, you will be notified, and they will be avoided and minimized at all costs.
It's as though wait to see if another question pops up.
Okay.
Quickly. Okay, it looks as though we don't have any questions at the moment coming in, so we'd like to request if anybody has any outstanding questions or concerns, please, feel free to ask. This is a great opportunity to get an answer and to help provide as much information as possible. So we'll wait another minute to see if anyone has a concern.
All right, it doesn't look like we have any additional questions at this time. We are going to stay on the webinar until 5 o'clock. So if you have any additional questions, we will pop back on as needed to. So please put any questions in the Q&A box and we will answer them as they come in. Thank you.
All right. For those that are still in attendance, we had another question come in that we'd like to take a moment to answer. It asks, how will drainage be handled within the project limits?
So roadway runoff and drainage will be managed within the project limits. We are utilizing an open drainage or ditches, as well as closed drainage. So the roundabout will have curb and gutter around it, and then everywhere else will be an open ditch section. So the project's not going to make any current drainage issues worse, and we will maintain all highway right-of-way drainage. So any drainage leading into or carried by the highway drainage system will be managed.
And then the next question that came in, and we had mentioned the size, but it asks, can you make the roundabout smaller?
So I touched on this a little bit in the presentation. The roundabout size we used is 130, and because of our design vehicle, which is a WB67, which is a large semi-trailer, and because of the speed, the existing speed of the roadway, 130 is the smallest size that fits, that meets our project goals. We did look at making it a smaller size, and with the speed and the truck, we just couldn't make it work. So we are minimizing the footprint as much as possible.
Great. Let's see, those were the two questions that we had. So we'll take another moment and remind everyone that we're still open for additional questions. That is what we are here for tonight.
We'll be here till 5 o'clock. So any
Yes.
questions, please type in the box.
Yep.
We have a request.
No.
Yep. We have a request to go back to the rendering slide. Right now, we have construction starting in fall of 2025. And it should take approximately 3 months to complete. And like I said, we are still determining the extent of relocations for the utility companies. So that will also have to be put into that timeframe as well.
Laura, it looks as though we had another question come in. Will my landscaping and trees be impacted?
All right. I can let Rosemary talk about this in further detail, but you will be compensated for any landscaping or items that we do impact, but I'll let Rosemary talk more about that.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry, I was muted. Basically, in reference to any type of improvements that are impacted by the project. For instance, if you have a landscaping, a fence, any trees, things like that. Basically, we have a landscaper give us evaluation on any items that are impacted along the project. And then when we prepare the documents and make the offer, we include those items within the offer.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, we had a individual who just joined and asked, what is the radius of the circle?
Sure. So on this slide right here, this is a rendering of the proposed improvements. And when we design a roundabout, we have what's called the inscribed diameter. So this outside radius right here, let's see. Hopefully you can see my mouse on my screen. This outside curve right here, we have designed as 130 feet, which is the minimum for the safest minimum diameter for the speed and design vehicle of this roundabout. So this was 130 feet. Our travel lanes within here, I think, Andrew, you have the specifics for that. I want to say it's 20 feet for the circulatory roadway.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Hopefully that answers your question. And if you did join
Yes.
late, this PowerPoint, all these slides will be available on the project website, which can be found right here, del.gov/projects. And I do believe a recording of this presentation will also be on there. And that presentation, this presentation and the recording, it'll be up. You give us a few days to get it up, though. It won't be immediate. We've got to download it and get it over to IT. So I just wanted to remind everybody to go to the project website, and there will be a survey on there that you can fill out. It's helpful to our project team and allows, gives you the chance to give us comments, suggestions, anything you would like to write in there as far as the project and what you saw today. So that'll be on the project website. And we still do have a couple more minutes if anyone else has any questions. We are here till 5 o'clock.
Last call.
Yeah.
All right. Will the circle be lit up by stadium lights to increase visibility and reduce collisions?
Roadway lighting is included in our design. Okay, I didn't know if our rendering had shown the lighting, but there is standard lighting that we do design for a roundabout. So there will be increased lighting compared to what's there today. Andrew, I don't know if you want to go into more detail about that.
Sure. I believe, and I will double check this again, but I believe for each approach leg, so each roadway approaching the roundabout, it's approximately 200 feet will be lit. So you'll have full visibility leading up to the roundabout, and the roundabout itself will be completely lit. Most likely there'll be a single light plant between each roadway centered, so that the roundabout itself will be very visible as you approach, and anyone inside the roundabout will also be visible. And I would like to mention that one of our poll questions in there, we did have a couple individuals mention that their biggest concern is poor lighting. So we will be addressing that with this project.
All right, well, if there are no more questions, I don't see any more questions coming through. I just want to encourage everybody to go to the project website. Once again, there is a survey there that you can fill out, give us comments, suggestions, thoughts on the project. You can find contact information there. You'll find this presentation there. Again, give us a couple days to get it up. You can also email Delta at the website on the screen. So I hope you all enjoyed the presentation today. I want to thank the panelists and the team members once again. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to anybody on the design team. Thank you.